Viewers, within hours of Times Now breaking, more revelations through WhatsApps that we have been able to access between the family of Sushant Singh Rajput as well as the Mumbai police, which claim that there was a motive for Rhea Chakraborty to harass Sushant Singh Rajput and perhaps even push him to commit suicide or take his own life or even eliminate him. The Enforcement Directorate has swung in, viewers, and has summoned Rhea Chakraborty. That moment has arrived. She will now have to appear before the Enforcement Directorate on August 7, and she will have to answer questions. This will be the first time after the exposés by Times Now, which raises several new questions in this entire saga, which has taken a murky turn, that Rhea Chakraborty will have to answer pointed questions. Does she have the answers? Or if it is found that she is floundering, will she actually be arrested? $1 million question. But in this particular case, viewers, it could boil down to a question of just 17 crores. Remember, the family has been saying that Rhea Chakraborty might have siphoned off around that much money from Sushant Singh Rajput's accounts. We have spoken to insiders close to Sushant Singh Rajput who said that she handled all his finances. We have exposed companies which on the face of it appear to be shell companies that were formed, on which the directors were the Chakraborty family members, made allegedly to siphon off money savings of Sushant Singh Rajput. Rhea Chakraborty will have to answer these questions. These questions are going to be razor sharp. And till now, she has been, of course, given a long rope by the Mumbai police that should have actually filed an F.I.R. much earlier in this case against her for, at the very least, wrongful confinement, because that's what the family had alleged. If you remember, viewers, on February 19th and February 26th, I want to go straight across to our reporters for the latest on this. Navika Kumar joins us. Navika, this is a very, very big news development. This completely blows open this case now.
That's right. In fact, we've been saying all along, as far as the Mumbai police is concerned, there has been more of a cover-up that has taken place than an investigation. And with the WhatsApp chats that we had, really exposed 2 days ago, Rahul, it was very clear that the family had made complaints on 19th of February and 25th of February, saying that there was a risk to the life of Sushant Singh Rajput. And they had given his numbers, given the numbers of his associates like Siddharth Patani, called Buddha Pitani. All these numbers were given. The police did not even call once to check. And this was happening when an IPS officer in Faridabad posted in the Haryana police, a police commissioner was making these references to the Mumbai police. If that's the seriousness with which the Mumbai police looked at it, clearly it looked like a complete cover-up. Today, another set of WhatsApp forwards that have been given by the Mumbai police, where they want to implicate the family, actually show that not just 19th and 25th, even before that, there were messages that were sent to him. Now, for the first time, the Enforcement Directorate, which has been looking at the financial angle, the money laundering angle that has been spoken about in the Bihar F.I.R. that was filed by Sushant Singh Rajput's father, they have found two crucial leads. And the crucial leads are that Rhea Chakraborty, her income, and the fact that she has made two recent purchases of high-value properties in Mumbai city itself. These do not match up. And that is the line of questioning excuse me, that the Enforcement Directorate wants to question. Rhea has been summoned on 7th, that is Friday, 48 hours from now. And then the CBI is registering an FIR. Well, the net is closing in. And according to me, Rahul, whichever way you look at it, it's not just Rhea Chakraborty, but it's also going to be the Mumbai police's role in the cover-up that is going to be a part of the investigation.
That's very big. Navika Kumar saying that even the CBI now ready to take over Sushant, probe, FIR to be registered tonight or early morning. That's what we are being told. Navika, this is a very, very big development. This is exactly what Times Now has been campaigning for. Can you quickly elaborate really on the 3 or 4 tricky questions that Rhea Chakraborty has to answer tonight?
Well, question number one, her own income is going to be looked at versus the kind of property purchases that the Enforcement Directorate are now talking about. That's going to be question number one. Question number two is going to be about the fact that at one level, Rhea Chakraborty was stating that Sushant Singh Rajput was undergoing some mental issues, some health problems, and then she was registering companies with him. So were these companies registered when Sushant Singh Rajput was in a sane state of mind, or was he compromised? That's the question that's going to be asked to her, because if he was not in a sound state of mind, then how are these companies being registered? There are legal issues in that as well. There are going to be questions that are going to be asked about the expenses of Rhea Chakraborty based on the add-on card that she had. And of course, there are going to be questions that are going to be asked on why she was being alleged by the family of taking charge of his finances, and why was the family, complaining about these issues. All of these questions are what Rhea is going to be confronted with. But the biggest development today, and it's a victory for our campaign, is that not just the CBI, but also the Enforcement Directorate have gotten into action. The Enforcement Directorate, which has been studying the financial angle over the last 3 days, today has zeroed in on two purchases of high-value properties, and these are going to be the basis of the questioning of Rhea on the 7th of August, that is Friday. And huge success, but this is just a fight half done, because this case needs to be taken to its conclusion. We've got the first victory with ED and CBI stepping in. We have to take it to its logical conclusion.
Well, Navika, now you're talking about two purchases of very high-value properties. Now, this is something which is completely not known. It's explosive. Any details on when these properties could have been purchased? Because remember, the family has been saying as much as 17 to 20 crores is not accounted for as of now. We've also spoken to people close to Sushant Singh Rajput who said that about a year ago, at least a PA who was very close to him said a year ago he had about 35 crores in his account. Now, of course, it's about 7 crores. So this number is somehow being corroborated by others. Do we know a little bit about these properties, etc.?
We've only been told so far that these are high-value properties. They have been purchased recently. So dates of purchase not yet given, because that's going to be the basis of the questions that are going to be asked to Rhea Chakraborty. Hopefully, we will work on this lead and we will try and get more details. But as of now, ED sources extremely tight-lipped. They've just said recently, and I would assume recently could be between May last year and June 13th this year, because May is when Rhea Chakraborty makes an entry into the life of Sushant Singh Rajput. Having said that, let me also tell you, Rahul, that this is a case that is really opening up, it's unraveling, and high-value purchases. I even asked the question whether this was in South Mumbai, whether it was, in an uptown area in Mumbai where these properties had been purchased. Well, at the moment, ED sources completely zipping up, saying no details, but they did confirm to me that summons have been issued to Rhea. Explanations will be sought to her. Question is, if those explanations don't add up, will Rhea Chakraborty be arrested? Well, that option remains open, and I want to put that out right in front because this is a case of an unnatural death. The unnatural death is being called either an abetted suicide, or it is being even speculated to be a murder. And in such a case, evidence tampering will be something that will be extremely important an angle. And the fact that there has been Bihar police, there has been CBI, the ED and the Mumbai police, 4 protagonists in this entire story. And we're talking not about an ordinary person, we're talking about a star, an intelligent person. And if there has been a situation where he's been sort of led to this suicide or even murder, then this is a very huge case, and this is the case of a star, a small town boy going to Mumbai, making it big, and then he's been removed from the way. Who were the people doing this? Important, very important, issue and question that will be looked at by the Enforcement Directorate. And once the CBI comes in, they're going to look at the criminal angle as well. The money laundering and the financial angle will be looked at by the Enforcement Directorate. We've got success in our campaign of justice for Sushant, but at the moment, this is the breakthrough we were waiting for. My sense is it's going to be a mystery that's going to unravel over the next few weeks, because there are many shades. I'm privy to some, but I would wait for evidence to corroborate them. It is going to be a long investigation.
The family, and you've been in touch with lawyers close to the family, also members close to the family who are known to them, their friends, etc. They've always been suspecting the money motive. The money motive is really on this, that the entire case really hangs on, isn't it? If the money motive is established, then there is a problem.
Absolutely. In a suicide case versus a murder case, you have to look at what was the motive of anybody to bump off Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, depression is the angle which has been pushed. It has been pushed by the defense that's been put forth by the lawyers of Rhea Chakraborty. On the other hand, it is also the angle of money swindling which the family has put. So these are the two theories. If it is suicide and mental illness is the problem, that is the angle that was being pushed by Mumbai police as well. Why were they doing it? Because they didn't even make a call when there was a danger, there was a risk to his life that was being stated by the family, again and again and again. And a feeble defense that's come from the Mumbai police is, unhone writing mein nahi di. A message is also a written complaint. And a complaint has to be followed up by the police officer who receives that complaint. And the Mumbai police in this case has been vilifying the family and following Rhea's defense, and clearly something not quite adding up in the investigation that has taken place so far. So Rahul, yes, you're right. The money angle is where the motive can come out, and therefore the Enforcement Directorate will probably be able to unearth the motive part of it through this money angle, and then the CBI will have to look at murder versus suicide angle.
Okay, yes, let me just bring in a Bhavtosh on the CBI angle now. That's the other angle which is very important. If the Enforcement Directorate is going to follow the money trail, then there are other questions that also appear on the horizon, Bhavtosh. For example, if there was swindling, then there is a motive. And then if there is a motive to act against Sushant Singh Rajput, then the entire suicide open and shut case is blown open, because people will say that was Sushant Singh Rajput either driven to, or was he actually eliminated? And that is the contradictions that the CBI will begin to pick up on. Bhavtosh, isn't that right? We also have had big drama in today the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said after 3 days it's going to look into the responses and then take a call on the final jurisdiction. As of now, Bihar police can continue the probe. As of now, a CBI inquiry can be instituted. So this is becoming very tricky for Rhea Chakraborty, and it's a big vindication for Sushant Singh Rajput camp and his family.
Rahul, the fact is that it also spells big trouble for Rhea Chakraborty, primarily because Supreme Court has not given her any kind of relief. She has no protective cover from being arrested. The fact is that the matter has only been listed for next week. So it could be possible that she might be grilled for days by the Enforcement Directorate, because her statement will be recorded under Section 5 of the PMLA, which requires a person to write their own statement. There would be 2 assistant directors who would be questioning her, but she would be be asked to write her own statement, and this can go for days. As far as the CBI is concerned, CBI has made it very clear that they will go ahead with the probe. They have also said that the director has informed other senior CBI officials that they should register an F.I.R. in this case and start investigation very soon. The F.I.R. would be re-registration of Bihar Police F.I.R. and they have said that a team of CBI officers will go to Patna, collect all case files, all documents which Bihar Police has collected over a period of 10 days and then start the investigation. Now, the Maharashtra government has always said that their consent was not taken, but CBI has said that they have consulted the director of prosecution, and he has said that you can go ahead with the F.I.R. This is a legal case, and you should not wait for another order or any kind of order from the Supreme Court. CBI itself has a specialized team called Special Crime Unit. It has units in Mumbai as well as in Delhi. They specialize in solving high-profile cases. Presently,
let me go straight across because there are more fast-paced developments coming in on the Sushant Singh Rajput case as well as the attendant case of Disha. Disha, who was very closely connected to Sushant Singh Rajput because she was his advisor, as well as someone he had contracted for both marketing, publicity, and other aspects of his career. Now, Times now has accessed the autopsy report. Vivek, which you have been able to get there, just take us through what the Disha autopsy report claims.
Well, Disha died quite before this episode with Sushant had happened, giving rise to speculations that perhaps, just perhaps, these two deaths might be linked. Linked yes. How? Where there's an angle of money being involved, was there a revenge angle? Several angles coming out yes. right now. But what we have with us is a post-mortem report of Disha Salian. Well, the post-mortem report doesn't indicate that there is any foul play involved at all. It says name of the deceased, Disha Salian, religion Hindu, age 25, goes on to say that there were head injuries, there were injuries to other parts, there were broken bones, a vaginal swab was collected, and there was no injury to private parts, which clearly indicates us that unlike what certain media reports said, that there was some kind of an assault on her, no sexual assault reported as per initial reports in the post-mortem. Of course, we'll be waiting for the swab reports, but essentially that's what the post-mortem report says, that the basic understanding of the initial look, it looks as if there was no foul play involved in Disha Salian's physical autopsy. At least says that we'll have to look into electronic evidence of the email which Sushant Singh Rajput had. If once the police gets access to the
so
email
you're saying
address,
that you're
yes.
very clearly saying, Vivek, that at this moment, unnatural death, of course, but no sexual assault, which is something which is very important to put on record. Some very responsible news channels as well as media houses have been coming out and saying that there is a possibility of a sexual assault on Disha Salian, which had to be covered up and therefore she was murdered. At least that aspect has been settled. Thankfully, there was a remarkable attempt by certain politicians also to make this particular claim, and many people were very queasy. Times Now never reported this particular aspect because we didn't want to push any theory that would have led for the family to feel uncomfortable about any attempt to tarnish either the character of Disha Salian or suggest that there were violations of a nature that they were not aware of, which would have caused them, of course, additional pain. So Times Now, once again, responsible news channel, stands extremely vindicated on this particular aspect, because a large number of people had been asking us if we were part of some cover-up by not going deeper into the Disha Salian angle, which they claimed was a cover-up for a sexual assault and murder. Well, as of now, Times Now holding its line because we didn't want to be part of any such campaign based on frivolous news breaks or individuals who were not willing to go on record but were speaking off record. Obviously, they had a motive in not identifying themselves and making it very clear who they were, because they realized they would be held to account. So no lies, no fakery on Times Now when it comes to the Disha Salian case. Times Now's investigation into the Sushant Singh Rajput case, however, resulting in a massive, massive vindication for our journalism. We are now seeing a CBI and an ED double-barrel inquiry. An F.I.R. by the CBI could be filed by late tonight. We know that Rhea Chakraborty is going to be summoned on August 7th. That's just 2 days away. That's Friday. And she will have to answer a barrage of questions.